What's Friends of Care all about?
Okay, Friends of Care is an animal welfare, a registered animal welfare body that services the McGregor and surrounding areas. And what happens is that the personnel go out and either we respond to emergency treatments, we respond to emergency calls, we sterilise the animals in the area. The reason being it's a rather indigent area. There's probably about 65 to 68% unemployment in the area. Even if they could afford veterinary care, there is no vet in the area. The nearest vet is about 22 kilometres away and there's no public service. So what happens is we provide the gap. Okay, I've been in animal welfare for 32 years. So I'm a qualified animal welfare inspector, which allows me to do certain procedures under the supervision of a veterinarian. I'm only allowed to do it for a community that cannot, or a patient that can't afford private veterinary fees. If a person can afford private veterinary fees, then they must go to the private vet. The AWAs are there for people who cannot afford that service. They are absolutely starving. There's not. Langeberg didn't exist. It was each individual little village had their own municipality. So McGregor, Robertson, Montague, Bonnievale, Ashton had their own individual municipality and their individual little SPCAs. And then about 12-15 years ago what happened is the municipalities amalgamated and came up with Langeberg. So SPCAs are normally reliant on municipalities. Therefore all the SPCAs had to be amalgamated too. So what happened is now is that there is Cape Winelands SPCA, which is situated in Ashton, which is 45 kilometres from here. So there was ex-SPCA members in McGregor that became a fundraising body, and that's developed from there, really.
Then he got Davy on the line, and I spoke to Davy, and Davy admitted he was the owner, so he's meeting us. The police want to, we've made a case, waiting for him to meet us on Monday at McGregor Police Station.
McGregor's community is split up. It's from one end of the scale to the other. We have pensioners that are on state funding, and we have pensioners that are pretty well off, and we have guys that are unemployed and on social welfare. The haves in the village are very good to hand out to the have-nots. It's a very together village. The people live in low-cost housing areas. Their priority is not their animal. Okay, they don't have a lot of money to spare, and the animal must just fall in with the household. So you have to be careful of what, there is the law. The law says that you're not allowed to do this, you're not allowed to do that, but you are working with the community, you are educating the community. So it's easy to just go in and yield the big stick and demand that and take the animal away, but it actually serves no purpose whatsoever. So we go in with the process of we're going to help, we're going to upgrade, and if you help the animal, we will help you. That's the sort of give and take that we go in. Generally, we have found a great response from the people. They're prepared to, once they know what they've got to do, they're prepared to sort of work with it and do it. There are normal cruelty cases, but at a percentage, I would probably say at the moment 2% have been cruelty cases where we've administered warnings and we've gone back and we've had to do whatever we've had to do. Otherwise, guys, you give a letter, a warning. Generally, it's dogs on short chain, so we provide wine and they put it in a running wine if it's necessary. A lot of the guys think, let's put the dog in a chain for no reason whatsoever. So they just need to be sort of spoken to, and they understand why it's good to let the dog loose. But generally, what we find in them dogs on short chains, dogs without kennels, underfeeding, and animals that need to be sterilized, which is pretty good, and within what they can afford.
Yeah.
You know, you can't expect a guy to go to the vet and buy some veterinary scheduled diet when he's only got 600 rand at the end of the week to purchase everything for the household. So where's the line? We buy food and we sell it to the community at a subsidized price. So the animals are at least getting good food, but the owners are learning that if you have an animal, you've got to buy food. So it's that, again, that give and take where we're upgrading responsible pet ownership. People saying male dogs don't need to be sterilized. That's the first thing you always come across. Generally it's the males that they say, nope, can't have my dog done, it'll take his manhood away. But it's not only about pet population, it's about health. If you have a dog that's sterilized, you don't have the frustration of bitches in season. You don't have prostate cancer. You know, there's various things that it's not just, that's our aim. Obviously our first goal is you're reducing the litters. One must remember a bitch can come into season every 6 months. Once she is covered, that's it. So twice a year she produces a litter. But that male dog, okay, can fertilize and mate with at least 10 female dogs in season a day. So who's the problem? Okay, so we do across the board, males, females, everything. We have to charge. If the owner can afford it, we will ask a reasonable rate just to cover the costs of medicines. But that being said, there are many guys who can't afford it. So the people that are donating towards the project are sponsoring those people who can't afford. So prolific breeders really need to be controlled. Our sterilizations are done by Cornerstone Veterinary Clinic, which is great. They have a welfare side as well. Dr. Helen McLean, she works at the private veterinarian, at the private vet. She also runs the John Moore Animal Welfare. So it's hand in hand. She comes through here with her team. It is done purely voluntary, on a voluntary basis. She gives her time, but we obviously pay for the drugs. So the cost of the sterilization is what we look to the owner to cover. Again, McGregor is a wonderful community where we rely on the volunteers. So the volunteers, we decide on a date, it's all set up, and the volunteers then come in. We've got a list of sterilizations, and the volunteers go out, they fetch, the operation is done. We have volunteers here watching recovery, we have volunteers making food for the people to make sure they're strong enough to work, and then once they're able, they're awake and we know that everything is fine, they then go back out to the volunteers and get delivered. So it literally, it's like a conveyor belt, in, out, operated on, and it can only work with the volunteers. We wouldn't be able to do it without them. You're looking anything between, we normally start at 7 in summer because it gets warm, and we'll finish probably about 2:30, and we'll get through anything from 20 to 30 animals on a day, which is great. Okay, we basically started, as I said, as a fundraising body, and we developed probably about 8 years ago into doing primary healthcare clinics, which are held on a Saturday morning in the indigent areas or surrounds. That's for the treatments or the vaccinations, primary healthcare. We then offer a 24/7 emergency call service. So if a dog gets run over or poisoned, bitten by a snake or a scorpion, we will respond to those calls. About 2 years ago we started the sterilisation project, which that happens every sort of 6 weeks, where we will have a spay day or a steri day. And then we offer, there are small farmers in the area, but it's not a huge thing, but there are cows that are raised or pigs that are predominantly pigs in the area. So we do offer a service of emergency slaughter if the animal gets run over, or we offer humane slaughter. You know, one has to be realistic that large animals are bred certainly in these communities for meat. And we are here to prevent cruelty to animals. And the way that we can do that is to offer humane slaughter. So that is very important. It's not an easy job, but it's very important for the animal. We also
So if you'd like to help us help the animals, there's various ways you can do that. You can either volunteer to come and help on one of our spay days. You can donate towards our spay days, and recently we've been asking even just for 50 rands really makes a difference. You can buy our calendar, which will be available at the Christmas market and other venues. You can think about bequesting in your will towards this animal charity, or if you run a business you might want to make a donation which you can claim against tax.
Or if one just feels that they want to donate towards animal welfare, if animal welfare is important to you and you'd like to make a difference, this is the way to do it.
Yeah. Thank you.
That's your money.
Okay.
Give us your money. Do not.